Have you ever felt like you're just constantly chasing new clients,
Wow.
struggling to stand out in a crowded market? Or maybe you've tried those networking events and you walk away with a stack of business cards, but well, no real connections, nothing that actually led to growth. It's a common thing, right? And honestly, it's pretty exhausting for so many businesses. Well, today we're doing a deep dive into an organization that promises to transform how businesses connect and grow. We're going to unpack the Local Business Network, or LBN, and we'll explore their concept of ideal referral partners, IRPs, we'll call them. We'll get into what that means shortly. Our mission here really is to understand LBN's core philosophy, how it works operationally, and reveal maybe the surprising effectiveness of their structured relationship-focused approach. You'll hear why some members apparently call it everything you ever wanted from a business referral team and more. And we're getting this straight from the source. We're looking at LBN's own documents, an invitation, an officer's manual, and this really interesting piece on ideal referral partners. So this isn't just theory. It's right from their playbook.
Yeah, and what's really striking right from the start is that LBN, founded back in 1999, it describes itself as a network of interconnected business referral teams. And its fundamental goal, they say, is to maximize benefits for its members. That immediate focus on, tangible gain, not just casual mingling, it sets a very deliberate tone.
That's a great way to put it, a deliberate tone. So LBN lists these 5 ways they claim to maximize referrals, things like exclusivity on your team, networking across chapters, high-quality members, training included. But what really jumped out at me from the documents was their deeper claim that the true differentiator, their secret sauce, maybe, is the relationships members develop. They talk about lifelong relationships, a culture of respect and support, even business advice and counsel, and strategic partnering. They suggest you could visit once, stay for a lifetime, which sounds great. But in a world pretty saturated with networking groups, what does LBN actually do differently to make those deep connections happen, beyond just saying it's important?
That's a really good question because lots of groups talk about relationships, right? But LBN, well, it appears they try to operationalize it. What the documents seem to highlight is a shift away from those purely transactional exchanges that collect business cards thing you mentioned, towards building a real foundation of trust. And it's not just about showing up. It seems baked into their structure. Things like mandatory one-on-ones, mutual accountability, a pretty robust mentorship system for new people. It helps integrate them deeply. It's less about one single meeting and more about consistent, structured engagement that kind of compounds over time, which, should create more sustainable growth than just chasing the next sale.
Okay, so it's like a system designed for building trust, not just making contacts. That makes sense. Yeah. And that focus on quality relationships seems to lead naturally to a more strategic way of thinking about referrals. And LBN, through its president, Charles Gifford, had this specific concept. The ideal referral partner, or IRP. What exactly is an IRP in their framework?
Right. So Gifford defines an IRP not just as someone who might send you a lead, maybe someday, but someone who's best suited to do it because they have the greatest exposure to your typical customer.
Right.
It's all about strategic alignment. So it's not about collecting just any business card. It's identifying those key people whose own customer base perfectly overlaps with yours, but crucially, they offer complementary services, not competing ones.
Ah, okay, that's a critical distinction. Complementary, not competing. So what's the extraordinary value they talk about? What's the big deal about cultivating an IRP beyond just getting an occasional lead?
Well, this is where I think the aha moment really hits for people reading this stuff. According to Gifford, just one ideal referral partner could represent, get this, tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars of referrals over the life of a relationship.
Wow. Okay, tens or hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. Think about that impact. So he argues it makes far more sense to spend your time developing referral partner relationships than to spend it chasing customers one at a time. It's really about leverage, right? Leveraging your time and effort for potentially exponential returns instead of just those linear one-off gains. Working smarter, not just harder, essentially.
Okay, that's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
And to really hammer that home, there's this story in the material about a guy named Al Crawford. It's pretty compelling.
Yeah.
So he was new to LBN, new to his job selling office equipment, and apparently he was really struggling to fill his prospect pipeline, his company's leads, mostly for small desktop copiers. But Al sold the big, high-volume machines, so a total mismatch.
Right.
Through LBN, though, he connects with the owner of an office supply company. Now, this owner regularly met prospects who needed the big copiers Al sold, but the owner only sold the smaller ones. See the connection?
Perfect fit.
Exactly. So they decided to share leads. And in just a few months, Al's sales apparently went through the roof. His pipeline exceeded the combined prospects of all the other salespeople in his office, some who'd been there for years. He went from the new guy to the top performer. And listen to this. He cut his prospecting time by 90%. 90.
90%. That's incredible.
Right. So what do you think was the biggest factor there? Was it just finding that IRP, or did the LBN system play a bigger role?
Well, that story really shows the compounding effect, doesn't it? The IRP was definitely the catalyst, no doubt. But Al's success wasn't just dumb luck. It was the system LBN provided that helped him find that connection in the first place. And then the ongoing structure helped nurture it. That office supply owner wasn't just some casual contact. They became a strategic partner within the supportive environment LBN created. So I'd say the biggest factor was finding that perfect symbiotic fit, absolutely. But then having the LBN framework to consistently turn that potential into actual high-quality referrals. It's like building a diverse investment portfolio, maybe.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, but instead of stocks, you're investing in these key relationships that consistently yield high-value leads. It's a long-term play, for sure, but the returns, like Al found out, can be huge, exponential even.
That's a great analogy, investing in relationships. Okay, so how does someone actually go about finding their IRP? Al Crawford. Gifford lays out these 5 practical questions to systematically identify your IRPs. Let's walk through them. First, what firms deal with the same types of customers you have? Okay, makes sense. Second, what firms deal with customers who need the products or services you offer?
Right.
Third, what firms offer products or services related to your own and deal with the same decision makers you do? That's key, the decision maker part.
Yeah, definitely.
Fourth, what firms offer services your customers are already asking you for, but maybe you don't provide, like filling a gap? And finally, number 5, what firms deal with all of the above on a regular basis? Consistency again.
Exactly. These questions really give you a roadmap, don't they, to systematically pinpoint those truly valuable connections instead of just guessing.
Yeah, they do. And the sources give some concrete examples, too, which helps. Like realtors and mortgage lenders, they almost always go hand in hand, right?
Classic example. Or they mention computer services firms and website development firms. You know, customers often assume one provides the other, so it creates these natural referral opportunities. It's that symbiotic relationship again.
Okay, those questions definitely map out how to identify potential IRPs. But, for someone new to this, going from just identifying someone to actually building that deep, trusting relationship, that might still feel like a big leap. How does LBN's process help with that crucial next step?
Right, and that's where the LBN structure seems designed to help. Once you've pinpointed potential IRPs using those questions, the documents say, okay, now use the LBN member list. Find people in those specific categories within the network. The next step, schedule one-on-one meetings. And these aren't just, casual coffee chats. They're described as structured opportunities to really dig in, understand each other's businesses, who your ideal clients are, and figure out how you can genuinely help each other, mutually benefit. And the sources also add a little note. They say, while you can have several referral partners in the same business category, it's really important to keep those relationships balanced. Give referrals roughly equal in value to the ones you receive. It's got to be a two-way street. Mutual investment.
Mutual investment, yeah. It really sounds like the whole LBN ecosystem is kind of engineered to support this structured success. The organization itself, it's meticulously layered. The sources break it down into 4 levels. There's the corporate staff, regional directors, the local chapter management team, and then the individual members. And they emphasize very clearly, all 4 must work together to create success. So it's not just a loose collection of people, it's a cohesive system.
Precisely. And understanding what each level does helps you see the whole picture, I think. The corporate staff, for example, that's the home office, they provide this wide range of services, which apparently explains how member dues are spent. They're kind of the backbone, right? Setting direction with policies, agendas, offering training for members, officers, even their own staff. They handle communications, admin, organize the big events like regional mixers, industry exchanges, plus marketing, member recognition. It's the central engine ensuring consistency across all the chapters.
Okay, the central engine. And then you got the regional directors like Tracy G.J. Congdon is mentioned, a U.S. Army veteran. What's their role? The connectors on the ground.
Yeah, regional directors seem pretty critical for keeping the network healthy and maintaining standards. Their main job is supporting the existing chapters, making sure they're following LBN policies, helping with recruitment, providing essential training. There are also chapter development directors, apparently, specifically for launching new chapters. And crucially, these directors have real authority. They can ensure accountability, even it says replace officers or recommend dissolving a chapter if things aren't working. They're the quality control and guidance system for a whole region.
Wow, okay. That's significant oversight. Then, moving down to the local level, you have the chapter management team. This is your local leadership. President, secretary, treasurer, plus appointees like the host, membership committee folks, a trainer, social media person, mentors. Their purpose, according to the manual, is to provide the members direction and leadership they need to accomplish the primary goals, which are generating referrals, keeping the chapter size up, running good meetings, and building chapter pride.
And the officers serve 6-month terms. And here's a unique thing. They get free membership, but only after they successfully fulfill their duties. It's an interesting incentive system designed to reward dedication, it seems.
Yeah, delayed gratification. But ultimately, though, the sources really hammer this point home. The ultimate success or failure of a chapter is determined by the members.
Absolutely. Members have clear responsibilities. They need to get the required training. They need to bring referrals for others, help recruit new members, support the chapters of 4. Attend, participate actively, and promote themselves effectively through those one-on-ones and educating fellow members about what they do. It really highlights that even with a strong structure, individual accountability is paramount. You have to contribute.
And chapters even go through a certification process to become and stay official. Requires training, a minimum size, currently 12 members, and following the rules.
Yeah, keeps the standards up.
So how does all this structure and accountability translate into action? The real engine of interaction where it all comes together seems to be the weekly LBN meeting. The agenda looks meticulously designed. What kind of stood out to me was the focus before the meeting even officially starts. Pre-meeting networking, making sure members always have business cards. How do those little things contribute?
Well, it's all about setting the stage, right? Creating an environment of readiness, professionalism right from the get-go. The host's role, greeting guests, giving out packets, making people feel welcome. That's huge for the first impression. And that pre-meeting networking, plus they mention a circulating card file box for members. It just primes everyone to think about connections and opportunities immediately, even for guests. It signals, okay, this isn't just coffee and donuts. We're here to do focused business.
Right, sets the tone. Okay, so after the call to order, there's a key segment, the 60-second trainings. Members give a focused pitch with a specific ask, and this seems important, the why behind it. And the social media admin is even supposed to post these asks online. What's the strategy behind keeping it to just 60 seconds? Seems tight.
Oh, the 60-second training is like a masterclass in concise communication, isn't it? It forces members to boil down their value proposition, their ideal client, and exactly what they need really quickly and clearly. It's not just about practicing public speaking. It's about educating your referral partners effectively and efficiently. By demanding that specific ask and the why, it helps everyone else remember exactly who to refer and why their contact would benefit, which in theory significantly boosts the quality and quantity of referrals passed.
Makes sense, and having it shared online just extends that reach, I guess.
Exactly.
Then new members, they get formally inducted. There's a ceremony. They pledge commitment, attend, learn, support, follow up ethically, do inter-chapter stuff, and they're introduced to their mentor right then. That seems like a strong start.
Absolutely. The ceremony isn't just fluff. It solidifies their commitment to the chapter's way of doing things and immediately connects them with their mentor, which has to be crucial for getting integrated quickly.
Then you have officer reports. President on recruitment, secretary treasurer on referrals, scheduling speakers, tracking one-on-ones, recognizing top producers. It all seems geared towards reinforcing accountability and celebrating success, right?
Totally. The reports provide those transparent metrics on the chapter's health. Tracking referrals and one-on-ones keeps everyone focused on the main goal. And yeah, recognizing the top producers builds that culture of achievement, maybe a little friendly competition too.
Members also get chances for deeper dives with 10, 15-minute presentations. Helps everyone understand each other's businesses better, leading to better referrals, presumably. Then comes the core of the meeting, referrals, testimonials, and invitees. Members stand up and announce their member recognition slips. What exactly are those slips?
Okay, so these member recognition slips are basically short written notes acknowledging a referral someone gave, or maybe some other supportive action they took for a fellow member. So if I referred a client to you, or maybe helped you solve a business problem, I'd fill out a slip detailing that, maybe the value, and announce it during the meeting. It creates this tangible record of contribution and gives public recognition.
Ah, okay. Public acknowledgement.
Yeah. And here's a really critical rule they mention. If a member doesn't have a specific referral slip to announce, they're not allowed to just say, I don't have anything this week.
Oh, really? What do they do instead?
Instead, they must give a testimonial for a fellow member or for LBN itself, or they announce who they plan to invite to the next meeting. It ensures there's always positive engagement and support flowing. No dead air, everyone contributes something positive. And announcing invitees keeps that recruitment pipeline constantly active.
Wow, that never allow, I don't have anything rule.
Yeah.
That really underscores the expectation of active participation and mutual support, doesn't it? And the meeting wraps up with guest comments and this crucial closing reminder. LBN is not about the meetings. It is about what happens between the meetings. What's your takeaway from that closing line?
That statement just perfectly sums up the whole LBN philosophy, I think. The meeting is the stage, right? It's the catalyst. It provides the structure, the training, the accountability, the chances to connect. But the actual business growth, the real work of the one-on-ones, generating the referrals, building those strategic partnerships that all happens between the meetings in the day-to-day, it just reinforces that the meeting itself isn't the end goal. It's the engine that powers continuous, proactive networking efforts all week long.
And the host's role, being that first contact, handing out packets, following up that, seems pivotal for feeding new people into that engine.
Definitely a key role.
Okay, so once a prospect decides, yeah, I want in, there's this highly structured membership journey. The application and approval process looks pretty thorough. Guests get a packet with an application. It gets reviewed by the membership committee. There's a non-discrimination disclosure statement. They check references. They figure out any business category overlaps, assign an approved business category. It seems clearly designed to maintain quality, ethical members, and keep the chapter balanced.
Yeah, it's not just sign here. And what's particularly interesting, I think, is the dedicated support system for new members after they're approved. Once accepted, they're assigned both a trainer and a mentor.
Both.
Yeah. The trainer makes sure the new member attends the mandatory new member training, which they actually have to complete before they can even give their 10-minute presentation. Meanwhile, the mentor, who's supposed to be an exemplary, experienced member, provides that one-on-one guidance. They apparently check in weekly for the first 2 months, introduce the newbie to potential referral partners, and encourage them to use LBN's online training videos like your 60-second trainings or doing a one-on-one.
Wow.
It's this really hands-on, multi-pronged support system designed, it seems, to speed up their integration and help them succeed faster so they're not just, thrown into the deep end and expected to figure it all out.
That sounds incredibly comprehensive for onboarding.
Yeah.
And this whole detailed journey includes clear accountability too, right, for chapter health. Officers are checking compliance with policies on attendance, referral generation, ethical conduct.
Yeah.
Right. And the documents mention there can be consequences, disciplinary actions, even potentially not renewing membership if someone isn't pulling their weight. And chapters themselves have to maintain that minimum size, 12 members currently, to stay certified. It's a system that really seems built to hold everyone accountable for contributing, which ultimately protects the health of the whole group.
And it's adaptable too. We saw that example of a potential blended personal and small business services chapter, showing how they can mix diverse categories like realtors, accountants, IT consultants, but still keep it balanced.
Yeah, it shows flexibility within the structure.
So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear, isn't it? LBN isn't aiming to be just another casual meet and greet. It presents itself as this meticulously structured ecosystem built on deep relationships, strategic partnerships, those IRPs, and very clear accountability. It seems designed specifically to transform that often chaotic, sometimes frustrating world of networking into something more predictable, an engine for business growth. Really tackling those challenges we started with, chasing clients, struggling to make real connections.
Yeah, I think the core insight from reading their materials is that the real power they're trying to harness lies in understanding and then actively cultivating those ideal referral partners. But doing it within this supportive, well-managed environment they provide, it shifts the focus beyond just chasing individual leads towards building these lasting, mutually beneficial connections that ideally compound over time. It's presented as a systematic approach to business development, not just, random acts of networking.
So here's something to think about. If you could actually dedicate your networking efforts to just a handful of carefully chosen ideal referral partners, people who could potentially generate tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars in referrals over time, how would that fundamentally change your approach to building your business or your career? What steps might you take differently, maybe even starting this week, to identify and start nurturing your potential Al Crawford?